Greetings, fellow Trekkies and Trekkers. Well, unfortunately, I was hoping to get this video up a little earlier, but unfortunately that didn't happen, so here we go. But anyway, so let's pick things up where we left off with Code of Honor. Okay. The Enterprise arrives at the planet Lygon 2 to require a vaccine needed to combat an outbreak of Anchises fever on Styrus 4. The crew, possessing little information on the Lygonian culture, finds it follows strict customs of status similar to ancient China. Specifically, while the men in their culture rule society, the land itself is controlled by the women. Lutan, the Lygonian leader, transports up to the Enterprise to provide a sample of the vaccine and is impressed by Lieutenant Tasha Yar's status of head of security. Yar further demonstrates her Aikido skills against a holographic opponent for Lutan on the holodeck. After a tour of the ship, Lutan and the Lygonians abduct Yar as they transport back to the surface. Captain Jean-Luc Picard demands that Lutan return Yar, considering the kidnapping an act of war, but receives no response from the planet. After consultation with his officers, Picard determines that Lutan took Yar in a counting coup as a show of heroism. Picard contacts Lutan in a more peaceful manner, who grants permission for the Enterprise crew to beam down to the planet and promises to return Yar after a banquet in his honor. Lutan announces at the banquet that he wishes to make Yar his first one, surprising not only the Enterprise crew but also Yarina, who was already Lutan's first one. Yarina challenges Yar to a fight to the death to claim back the position. When Picard objects to the fight, Lutan refuses to give the Enterprise the rest of the vaccine unless Yar participates. The crew investigates the combat ritual and finds that the weapons used are coated with a lethal poison, and also that it is Yarina's wealth to which Lutan owes his position. Picard prepares to have Yar beamed to the Enterprise should she be harmed in the battle. As the match progresses, both Yarina and Yar are equally skilled, but Yar eventually lands a strike on Yarina. Yar quickly covers Yarina and orders the transport of both of them to the Enterprise against the demands of Lutan. Aboard the ship, Dr. Beverly Crusher reaches Yarina moments after death, but is able to counteract the poison and revive the woman's body. When Lutan demands to know the fate of Yarina, Crusher reveals that Yarina died, thus ceding the match to Yar and breaking the first one bond. Yarina is now free to select a new mate. She chooses Hagon, one of Lutan's bodyguards, and effectively strips Lutan of his position of power. Hagon lets Yar go and gives the Enterprise their full supply of vaccine. See, now that wasn't so hard, now was it? Anyway, let's look at some production notes here. Writer Catherine Powers was invited to pitch a story for The Next Generation, as she was friends with Star Trek writer D.C. Fontana. Alongside her writing partner Michael Barron, Powers pitched a story involving a reptilian race called the Talisians, who followed a code of honor similar to that of the Samurai. However, the script and the aliens went through several changes before making it to the screen. Powers would go on to write the Season 1 episode of Emancipation for Stargate SG-1, which held similar themes to Code of Honor. The African theme of the episode was brought in by director Russ Mayberry, who had the Lygonians race cast entirely from African-American actors. Mayberry was fired during production by the show's creator Gene Roddenberry, and first assistant director Les Landau completed the episode. Star Trek novel author Keith DeCandido later recalled that this was because of the casting itself, while cast member Will Wheaton thought that it was because Mayberry was racist toward the guest stars after they were cast. I highly doubt that. Staff writer Tracy Torme was not pleased with the 1940s Tribal Africa theme of the aliens, and because the combat scene towards the end of the episode resembled the Kirk vs. Spock fight in the original series episode Amok Time. Fellow Star Trek writer Maurice Hurley said that it was, quote, a good idea, but the execution just fell apart. Again, if you take that script, and if the actors had been told to give it a different twist, that show would have been different, but it became too baroque and fell apart. But the concept of having guys say, I have to have somebody kill my wife and this is the person, is a good idea. Some of the cast, including Jonathan Frakes, sought to prevent the episode from being re-aired. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly in 2012, Patrick Stewart agreed that fans that considered the Season 2 episode The Measure of Man to be, quote, the first truly good episode of the series, stating that the first season had, quote, had several quite weak episodes. Referring to Code of Honor, in particular, he said, quote, I could think of every one I could think of one very early that involved a race of black aliens that we all felt quite embarrassed about. This episode also saw the first appearance of the black and yellow grid structure of the empty holodeck. However, the interface unit used by Yar, which resembled a corded phone, was not seen again, with crew members using vocal commands to program the holodeck in future episodes. Captain Picard showed pride in his French heritage in this episode. This character quirk was only repeated in the following episode, The Last Outpost, before being removed from the character. So, yeah, overall, Code of Honor is not an episode that's fondly remembered among Star Trek fans, and I can see why. So, overall, I give Code of Honor 2 warp cores out of 5. Well, join me sometime soon as we take a look at The Last Outpost. So, until then, live long and prosper, everybody.